fut.com and then insert that number. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. Well done, guys. So the official international size of futsal court is 40 by 20. But we're going to talk about it, how we can adapt. Next question. How many subs are allowed in an official futsal match? Again, you're all right. The majority, it's unlimited. Okay? You can get in and get out, including the same player. You can get in and get out, including goalkeepers. You have a court player that goes a goalkeeper sometimes. Next question. Now it's not right or wrong. I just want to get to know your thoughts about futsal. So right now, what do you think is the main contribution that futsal could provide? Maybe no contribution, in your opinion. Okay. Looks like transitions and skill development are the ones that are, in your opinion, the main contributions. Nice, very good. Let's move to the last one. Maybe this is the most important one. Okay? Considering your context in Canada, would futsal have potential to be applied in your coaching activities as a sport in itself or as a tool to develop soccer? So, totally a pre-close, so we don't need the lecture, Matt, we can go, it's all done, done guys, I did my job. No, okay, look, the idea here is that, again, we have some of you that are partially applicable, and some of you that I think that are not applicable at all. So this will be the aim of my session today, as Matt asked, okay, is to make you think about the potential of futsal as a sport itself and as a tool to develop soccer players. So again, my main challenge here is to give you some thoughts, make you think about, maybe give you some arguments, some insights, abilities for you to change or for you to insert futsal in your routine as a coach, to develop better players. Considering always your context, what we just discussed here. Canada, such a big country with different cultures, two different official languages, the weather that's different from, even the country, within the country we have different weathers. And not to prove that it's right or wrong. It doesn't mean that because Brazil produced a lot of players, it means that futsal is the key. No, maybe it's wrong. Maybe futsal, you cannot transfer from the small pitch to the big pitch. Maybe futsal, you use the toe pole, and that's a sacrilege, when you use the toe pole in soccer, isn't it? But let's think about it, okay? That's the invitation I make to you guys. We're going to talk about the characteristics of futsal, how it's being developed. We're going to talk about how futsal is being organized by FIFA, and then we're going to talk about futsal and soccer, how they can work together. This is a nice video that I want you to have a look. second. Yeah, you just have to, his finger has to change it. These are two football teams in Brazil, Flamengo and Fluminense, quite well known. And they had, this is the under-9 final of the state championship. We're going to watch this for a minute and a half. So they're 9 years old kids. So this target work we just saw this kid doing, we're going to practice that on the field a bit later today. You can see the parents and agents looking for talent. Just another 30 seconds. Okay. And this is the World Cup final. Played in Thailand last year. The FIFA World Cup final between Portugal and Argentina. Just the best moments there. So the treatment that FIFA is giving to futsal is very close to what is being done in football. In terms of investment, investment considering obviously the different realities, and the quality of the game, that you can see there. Then Portugal won the World Cup. The same kind of, process, that FIFA gives to the game. So it's 5-a-side in a 40 by 20 meters court. Stop the clock with flying subs. You got all of this, isn't it? Why do we think that 5-a-side would be interesting? That's because it's basically small-sided games, isn't it? You can have the progression. 1v0, and then we spoke about here about methodology, isn't it? When we say about the game, it doesn't mean, those who played football, that it's just a game. So I'm not against the analytical thing. 1v0, the kid with the ball. They have to, maybe to make some corrections. Maybe to emphasize a technique. This afternoon, we're going to make some analytical training in dribbling, in skills. So, what I think futsal could provide is just that more controlled space in which you can do a coaching progression. That can be in a hard surface court, but it can be in a piece of the football field. This is a A basketball court, 28 by 14, right? 28 by 14, inside an official one. You know? The official futsal is 40 by 20, which comes from European handball, but it can be adapted. You know? My attention be Australia. In Australia, they use a lot netball and basketball courts adapted to play football. You just have the folded goals, portable goals. They put it there, and in fact, they use the 3 points area as a goalkeeper's area, kind of thing. So it can be adapted. Despite being 22 periods of 20 minutes to stop the clock, we can adapt. Like what we did in Brazil is that we have 3 periods of 15 minutes, non-stop the clock. So, but in the first period, 5 players play. Second period, you have to replace them all. So at minimum of 10 players will play. And then in the third period, then you can mix them up. It's an idea. Again, I'm just throwing in ideas for you to adapt and forget about it. Oh, that little Brazilian is just bullshitting us. Or you can, okay, this can be used. And then experiencing all the positions. That's a fact. You know? Play as a goalkeeper, play as a defender, play as an attacker. And again, you see that all the moments of the games are there. The transitions, they are regular, they are constant into the game. These are the systems. You know, you can play 2-2, you can play 2-1-1, you can play 3-1, or you can play 1-2-1. These are just basic systems. But the beauty of that, not just in futsal, but in football, is that the dynamic, the complexity of the game that brings the beauty of it. You know. But it's something that there is a structure, but it's always very intense, very dynamic. These are the World Cups that FIFA started doing back in 1989. So you have all the World Cup champions. And since the last World Cup that we just saw, that Portugal beat Argentina, yeah, go Portugal. But just for you to see that FIFA is putting effort on futsal, and the next World Cup is going to be in 2024. I don't think they know where it's going to be yet. And also, we're going to have a Women's World Cup for futsal that was announced this year with FIFA together with the Women's Soccer Club World Cup. Okay, so this was announced this year. And also, in terms of funding, you know, Andre can tell us that, in Canada Soccer, I'm sure can also say that FIFA, for example, this is just an example, that FIFA funded the building to build a futsal court in Holland for an UEFA tournament. Okay, so there is funding, there is coach education, there are various programs that FIFA promotes in order to develop the game. Professional leagues, we have all over the world. This is fully professional. For example, in Brazil, twice a week you have futsal on TV. You can just turn on, free, it doesn't have to be paid TV, it's just free, open TV. And then all these other countries, including countries in Asia, you know, not just South America and Europe. And then again, just for us to convince maybe the parents of our kids or the directors of the club, you know, why futsal could be a good product. Maybe because it's in a controlled environment, it's safer. Easy coaching progression, we saw the 1v0, 1v1, 2v1. It's protected from weather conditions, that could be good for you guys, I don't know why. Yeah. Close to basketball and hockey, isn't it? It's just a smaller court. It's good for TV and streaming. And you can play all year round. That's, I think this is one point, and I've left with Matt a research we did in terms of the number of hours that our top players, that are it was a group of 100 players from 6 or 7 different countries, how many hours they played from 0 to 16 years of age. How much time in terms of free play, how much time in futsal, how much in time in soccer. And it's amazing the difference in terms of the number of hours that the kids play because of futsal. Okay, talking directly now about futsal and soccer. We're going to talk about those 5 topics there. The first one is talent identification. Do you know this guy? Ronaldo. Okay, this is 92. This is registration in the futsal system. In 94, he was World Cup champion. He didn't play, but he was World Cup champion with Brazil in 94. So 2 years before being a World Cup champion in soccer, he was playing futsal. This other one. Also, his futsal registration. And then convertido is converted. And when he was converted from futsal to football. Both of them. It's there in their file. If you can see in the top left, right corner. Sorry. Another one. Neymar. And this lady. Ronaldo was 15 at that time. Ronaldinho 11, Neymar 10, and Marques 16. And then you can ask me, but when you do the move, usually around 13 to 14 years old, they play futsal and football combined sometimes, or just futsal, and then they're 13, 14 years old, then they have to make an option into the professional pathway of soccer or into the professional pathway of futsal. So again, you can use it to develop soccer players, or you can use it to have another sport, more kids, more people playing, more money for the federations. Eh? This is very interesting because this is a research that FIFA did. It's not just based in futsal, it's based in the small-sided games. And it comes from the FIFA Grassroots Manual. I'm sure you have access to that. I think at the end I'm going to share with you. Actually, everything you're seeing here, guys, Matt has, including the videos, the presentation. So you'll be able to, have access and share and do whatever you want with that. So if I want to convince, because sometimes you have a director or a parent saying, no, my kid is not 5-a-side, my kid is 11-a-side, let him play. But then you can tell me, look, Dad, if they're playing futsal or 4-a-side, and then they touch the ball 10 times in an 11-a-side game. In a 4-a-side, they're going to touch 50 times. That's what's saying there, isn't it? Players touch the ball 5 times more in 4v4 and 50% more in 7v7 in comparison to 11-a-side. So these arguments are the arguments that maybe can be useful for you guys to convince someone, or even to convince ourselves, the importance of how useful futsal can be. And then all these statistics were built with scientific studies made by FIFA, and those studies, or those statistics, are in the FIFA Grassroots Manual. This is just a bit of just for you to know about, if we touch the ball more, we have to make more decisions, isn't it? Do I touch? Do I pick the player in front of me? Do I go back and start the game again? And then scientific studies about how many decisions taken in a day in a normal person, how many decisions taken in a football match, professional football match and 11-a-side. There's no data in futsal. Sorry to... But it's obvious, isn't it? If I'm touching the ball more, if I'm participating more of the game, I'm exercising my brain more. I'm taking more decisions. So it's not just about the skills. It's about game intelligence too. Both of them together. And then, the moments of the game. In futsal, you attack, you defend, you have to do your defensive transition, your offensive transition. You have your dead balls. You can play as a goalkeeper. All of a sudden, you're playing as a defender. All of a sudden, you're playing as a left flank, a right flank. And sometimes in football, a kid that's 11 aside, 10 years old, stay 6, 7, 8 minutes without even touching the ball. So just points for us to, again, convince, arguments. We have to negotiate, isn't it? We have to persuade people about the importance of something if we believe in that. Again, we had a master class half an hour ago with John that he made me believe, I'm convinced that it can be done, that you can do differently, even if the world is saying something different. Again, the world says that Canada is the hockey country. Canada can be, and he's doing it, a football country, a soccer country. You just have to believe in it and act. Okay, I'm just going a bit fast here, Matt, because I think at the end we can maybe interact and ask some questions and make you guys think about a bit more about the game. What I'm going to show you now is that a futsal footage and a football footage straight away. Same team. This is Vasco da Gama, a team from the south, from Rio de Janeiro, that's where Romário comes from. And the system they use, not just them, but a lot of football clubs, is that they have the futsal coach with the soccer coach as assistant. They train twice a week futsal. And then they change in soccer. So, futsal head coach and the assistant coach is soccer. When they go to soccer, the assistant coach that was there becomes the head coach, and the assistant coach is from futsal. And it's the same number of kids. A squad of 30, they have 2 different times, 2 groups of 15 that go through the training for futsal, and all the 30 training soccer. Okay? From 9 years old they start, and it goes up to 15 years of age. They go 3 times a week futsal, and they end up, when they're 15 years of age, once a week futsal. 3 times a week, futsal, and they go to once a week futsal. Let's just see, I want you to think about the moment of the game. What happens in the court, and then what we're going to see on the field. Sorry, it's an amateur film, that's why you have the net there. Okay, let's have a look at that again. Okay, so what moment of the game is that? What phase of the game can we say? Is that maybe transition, offensive transition, or someone can say counter-attack? Okay, let's say, now, same team, same kids. These are under 12s, okay? Okay, see it again. I think we can see a transition there too, isn't it? All right, let's see this one now. So let's say we're talking about offensive organization. I'm playing from the back. So they start again. Okay, let's have a look again. Let's see on the field now. Start again. There we go. See it again. There we go. Okay. Each one of those links, and again, it's going to be shared with you by Matt, is linked to one of these manuals, okay? So you're going to have access to the FIFA Futsal manual, you're going to have access to the UEFA Futsal manual, to the CONMEBOL Futsal manual. This is the youth football manual, that is soccer, and then the futsal guidelines that FIFA has, okay? I've tried to sell futsal to you guys. But let's see if we can exercise in terms of what are the limitations? How do you think those who said that it's not applicable at all or partially applicable, what could be a limitation of futsal for you to apply to your reality? Please.
It's not the futsal leagues in this country.
There are no futsal leagues.
Well, there's one I can think of.
Okay.
We don't have enough competition for them to then aspire to train that way to play.
Okay.
It's only
Definitely, it's a limitation.
futsal league.
Do we have a solution?
I think we were about to do, my friend Tony over there, he was organising one just before the pandemic, and then it ended up with sale, and I'm hoping it's going to come back.
I think there was a tournament happening, isn't it? There is a tournament happening.
Tonight at 7 p.m. in the gym next door.
Yep. Yes, please.
Mauricio, I think it's pretty positive that the benefits that I've been involved in the game for a long time in Canada, and the benefits of the futsal in the transfer of player development is that it works in tight spaces, so you have to develop the skills of and perception of where the other players are, and there's a transfer of players in terms of they don't play one position. As long as you create the shape that you have a shape, and the development has happened for the outdoor game. It's changed because of futsal. And some of the things, the new developments is, in the last couple of years, the goalies are much more proficient in passing the ball and using it as an extra player. And that's what's happening in futsal. That's what they developed, those skills in the early years. So there is a transition, and it is developing. And to answer your question, Canada Soccer is going to be providing futsal coaching certifications in the coming year. And we're looking at to have the national team for women, the professional team, so there'll be some type of progression 77% in this year that played futsal that are in the national team. And that's created, and that's about the average over the last 4 or 5 World Cups, that the transfer of those skills are evident. Now, because we have a big country, I think it's really positive that we're taking a little bit from each of the speakers in each of the countries so that we can develop our own type of system depending on the location that we're in. So it is positive, it's growing, there'll be more leagues, there are national championships, hopefully there'll be national championships for the younger age group and even at the recreation level. So.
Well done. Ooh. Yeah, someone raised their hand there. Just a few observations there, so some food for thought. Goalkeepers, Alisson and Ederson came from futsal, Manchester City and Liverpool goalkeepers that are in the national team. That's why where they developed their foot skills. Another interesting topic, girl in Brazil. Brazil is a very machist country. So the parents allow the girls to play futsal because it's a controlled environment, but not as much soccer because it's a big environment. It's there's some prejudice behind it. So maybe could be something interesting. And the majority of we start picking up our girls when they are then under 15, under 16s in Ireland, isn't it, Gustavo? And 100% of them are coming from futsal. So they start futsal in school, in the leagues, in the state leagues, and then only then they go to soccer. So just to illustrate, again, doesn't mean it's the right way to do it, but maybe can give you food for thought for you to develop the Canadian way, which I think that's what you just mentioned. Someone raised their hand saying about the limitation here.
Me.
Yeah, just you? Yep, we got that one. Yep.
So I think of this, the reality for the club where I am here in Ottawa is that we try to implement futsal during the winter because of the snow, right? We have to play outside. But then we run into trouble with the parents and players. They are not buying in, right? Even though we tell them, your skill will increase, your vision and understanding of the game, soccer IQ, all those things, but they're just not buying in. And then they prefer playing on turf because we have the domes during the winter than playing in a gym inside a school, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the limitations we're having, especially in clubs where the size is smaller, and that's the facilities that we have. And they're just saying, well, you know what? This other club offers those time, I'll go to that club now because I want to learn on turf. Because
Okay.
they feel it's more related to that at 11 than going to futsal in a gym and practicing there.
Yeah. You just have to find the right, arguments, isn't it, to change that mindset. Yeah. Yes, please.
I think there's another structure. In Ontario, typically for soccer, we have team rosters of 18 players, sometimes it's 20 players. And that doesn't transition into futsal when you try and, you either have to divide them into 9 and, 2 groups of 9, rather than, as you were suggesting, 2 groups of 15, which makes it a little bit better for futsal. So the way the numbers fit between soccer and futsal don't really match right now.
Okay. And the solution is dividing them would be difficult because of logistics kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it would require changes to the way that we register players on teams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it's a challenge there maybe for the organizations to find a way around it, isn't it? Anything else? Yes.
Sorry, I know there's a lot of folks that are not, the challenge is that there aren't legitimized leagues. The reality of it is, Ontario Soccer's done a great job now starting some sort of a futsal cup that's going on, but in terms of consistency, there are leagues, unfortunately not sanctioned leagues. And I know there's folks here that have played in those leagues as players for coaches now when they were growing up in pockets of, we're from Toronto, pockets of Toronto. Those leagues exist, they're exciting, the kids are talented, they're playing regularly, there are folks that are running those, who spend the last 20 years of their life running that. So what we need to do as organization is to legitimize and recognize those pockets of, or those individuals who are running these leagues, who are doing a great job. We need to be present there as Ontario Soccer to see what's going on there, see the talent. There are kids there. I know there are kids there that just play futsal. It could be future national team players, but we could create a pathway for those kids to jump on and be part of our pathway by recognizing it. The same excitement we saw in your videos of parents and the agents, same thing exists there. People are jumping up and down, enjoying the talent of the kids out of there. So I think we need to find a way to recognize those leagues as well.
So there's a work there already, isn't it? There's a few seeds there that are happening. Very good. Yeah, we go here and then we go to you.
I was going to make a comment that what kind of a small club that the biggest limitation we would have is the multi-sport players. With football being played over the winter, it's direct competition in the pocket. And most of our athletic, we live in male programs, but that doesn't affect us females as much. So we don't hockey players. We brought our male hockey players out of our soccer program. That's the biggest issue is that they're competing timeframes. So when the football season shifts slightly to the night, more slightly in the spring, as hockey then
Yeah. Yeah, it's, again, I think Matt raised that thing, is that how we can use multi-sport in a positive way, and that can be, that what you just mentioned, limitations, and that drags the kids to other sports rather than football. Maybe find a solution there that the kids that don't go to hockey are in hockey. So it's like an official school program. Hockey, or just depends on the club.
yeah, it's club driven, I guess, district based, or should not be based on the content of various steps.
Yeah.
Basically, they're trying to September and they're trying to go. I don't know how the district class is starting out February. Which is the multi-sport advantage.
You can't bleed in and try. Exactly. Can be positive. It is positive. Yes, please.
Seems like there's a bit of a lack of a clear pathway to national team.
Okay. Now that, I think, again, we spoke about long-term players development, and in the national philosophy and under this national development plan, definitely, once you insert futsal there too, as part of it, and even beach soccer, isn't it? It's once you have that competitions, the leagues, and the clear pathway, definitely it makes things easier, isn't it? Because otherwise, yeah, exactly, it's sellable. It's a good point. It's easier to sell it, to argument, to convince, to persuade someone to go into that problem. So again, I can see that we have challenges here that come from easy things, the multi-sports, from calendar to competitions to the whole thing. But I'll stick to what inspired me, half an hour ago. That guy, he got, with all due respect, Canada from, women's soccer to being Olympic champions, Canada, I think the last time was with men, 86. More than 30 years to qualify and to face the, runners-up of the last World Cup. Belgium, who took us out of the competition in 2018. So, this guy can do something, he's doing different things, Can we do different things? I think I was affected by his talk. So I think I was trying to put some ideas, raise some questions, and you have some problems, that you just identified. Maybe just get together and try to sort it out. Try to find a way, even though we understand that our political things, financial things, the relationship with the parents, with the clubs, But it is, in my opinion, a possibility. And I think it can be really useful for Canada. Sorry guys, I have my email, I have my phone number, you can use my WhatsApp. Again, it's going to be in the presentation. The presentation and the videos and the manual links, everything is going to be shared with you by Matt. Sorry if I took too much of your time. Thank you very much.